Hello, my beautiful friends, Christina here. I'm so happy to be here with all of you today. I really wanted to just make a video sharing with you some personal life updates that are happening for me right now. I get questions all the time asking me about Koko and cash and future retreats and like the list goes on of certain things. And since it's the beginning of the year, I thought it would be refreshing to start off by not only sharing some of my goals for this year with you, but also sharing with you some things that I hope that will happen for me and where I'm gonna be focusing my energy. I feel that we're always changing, evolving, and growing. And I think it's just nice every now and then to just sit down and connect and to share what's going on with your life. So here we are. Before I get started and diving deep into this video, I just want to let you know that the 21-day fully raw and vegan health and fitness challenge is happening right now. And I'm just blown away with the community that is being built around this challenge. So many of you have chosen to either go fully raw or go vegan for these 21 days and commit to your health. I am so incredibly honored and humbled to be able to guide some of you through this journey. And something for me that has just been so mind-blowing and amazing, I don't want to necessarily say surprising, but it's just been so profound, has been the connection, the community, and the vulnerability that has been shared in our private Facebook group. So many of you who are doing this challenge with us know that I've been doing this with my boyfriend Cash, and we do lives every single night in our private Facebook group. And it's a beautiful space without judgment, without criticism. I mean, social media isn't always the nicest place. Not sure if many of you have seen any of my YouTube comments, but it's just been so nice to be able to have a community of people that are in alignment with your belief systems and kind and supportive, and it's just beautiful. So yes, I just wanted to say that the 21-day challenge is happening right now. It's going on all the way up until January 31st. You can join at any time, start at any time, finish at any time. But if you want to do it with the group or join us on our daily Facebook Lives, join now so that you can be a part of it and still partake in some of this awesomeness, because it is a lot of fun and it's the perfect way to start 2020. It's been so mind-blowing that Cash and I have decided that we want to spend a lot of our time focusing on this inner circle and this private community for the rest of 2020, because we want to build a supportive community of people who want to live this lifestyle. And we're hoping that those of you who feel called to do this or who feel that you need a supportive and judgment-free zone will join us. It's really wonderful. Everyone is welcome in this community. I just want to say, no matter where you are, we want to help. We just want to be able to get people to live healthier lifestyles, to go vegan, to love their bodies, the animals, the planet, and more. And I just wanted to throw that in there for those of you who might be too scared to try or think you might not be welcome. It's just for everybody. So I have a list of questions and things that I'm going to be talking about with you today, since there's a lot going on in my life right now. And the first thing that I'm going to be talking about is my rescue puppy, Koko. Now, many of you who've been following me for a couple months know that I just adopted this rescue puppy who I've named Saint Koko, and he is a special needs puppy. And for those of you who watch my Instagram stories, I get tons of messages from people really concerned about us. And I really want to thank those of you who have reached out to see how we're doing and express concern. For those of you who've been watching my Instagram stories and who've seen that we've been pulling off a lot of all-nighters together. And I don't even know what to say. I'll just say this: adopting and rescuing Koko has been one of the most challenging things that I decided to do in 2019. My love for him is so strong and so pure. I would not have it any other way. If I went back, I'd do the same thing all over again. I choose to rescue him. I just know that I have gained so much admiration and respect for parents of any kind who've taken on big responsibilities like this. I have been so incredibly exhausted the past couple of months. I've literally don't sleep anymore. I feel like I went and I spent half of my 2019 getting my sleeping patterns right, and then the second I adopted Koko, it was like it's been just difficult. It's been a difficult journey, but that's love, right? And when I rescued him, I didn't know that he had so many issues. For those of you who don't know his story, Cash and I were in St. Lucia looking at retreat centers when we went to go visit this rescue shelter and visit some of the animals. And he just happened to be born that same week. And I rescued him from Help Paws Animal Rescue Shelter. And when I saw him, I just knew he was mine. And all that I knew about him at the time was that he just had one eye, and I just wanted him anyways. I was like, I'm gonna love him, whether he's imperfect or not. And we went through a very big effort of getting him to come back to the States with us. And the third night that I brought him home here, the third night he was in the States and I brought him home, he started seizuring. And we spent a month and a lot of money trying to figure out what was wrong with him, because these seizures are full body convulsions, extremely scary, and he could die at any minute. And he almost did die many times. And it was just heartbreaking, terrifying, horrifying to watch these things. So after about a month of trying to figure out what it was, we finally figured out through the MRI that he had trauma to his brain through a dog attack. He was thrown out of a puppy mill when he was just 2 weeks old. And he was attacked on the street by larger dogs. And these larger dogs clawed his head. He must have only been 3 pounds at the time, but they clawed his head. And not only did they puncture his eye, but he has 2 punctures in his skull, like one right here on his skull and one on the muzzle bone of his nose. And in those 2 areas, his brain has hemorrhaged out. So now he's living with 2 brain hernias. And once we figured that out, not only was it devastating, but at the same time, it was kind of a relief because we knew how to move forward with it. But considering that he was only a month old at the time, we still had to go through this whole process of figuring out how much medication to give him, how to best treat him. And he's almost full grown now, but it's just been challenging because we haven't been able to get the medication dosages right. And yeah, for those of you who've just been watching my Instagram stories, you know that basically I've given up a lot of my life ever since I've gotten him, and pretty much all my sleep, to taking care of him and keeping him alive. And for those of you who want to know what's going on in my life, basically all of my Instagram stories are him now, or us like pulling off all-nighters or sleeping on the floor. And a lot of people ask me why I'm sleeping on the floor, or why I'm staying up all night with him. He typically seizures in the middle of the night. They usually start around 2 in the morning, and it's because when he goes to sleep, the brain waves change. This is how the neurologist, our vet, has described it to me, that when you go into a different or like a deeper REM sleep, the brain waves change and it can cause seizures. And Koko just doesn't have one seizure. He has cluster seizures, which means that once he starts one, I know it's gonna be a ridiculously long night, because he'll typically have 2 or 3 more, even after giving him meds and Valium. If you would have asked me years ago if I would know how to distribute anal Valium to animals, I would have been like, no, but I'm a pro at it now. I've got it down. And my heart just breaks for him. And I know a lot of people are wondering, like, why would you keep him alive? Well, the truth is that when he's not seizuring, he's such a happy puppy. He plays, and every single doctor that I've talked to, every single vet has told me that he has the ability to live a long, healthy, happy life. He could live up to be 12, 16 years old, as long as we get the seizures under control. We just haven't been able to go 2 weeks without having seizures. So it's been a journey. I feel like when I first got him, I had, after the first month of learning about his diagnosis, I felt like I was gonna fix him and I was gonna make this better and he's mine for a reason. And after, 6 months of doing this with him, I realized like I can't fix him. And it kind of breaks my heart, but I've come to be more into this acceptance that he was brought to me for a reason, and I just know that I'm meant to give him the best life possible, so I will. And having him has, given me so much compassion, not just for everybody who's rescued an animal, but it's like really connected me even more to the ethical side of veganism, more so than I didn't think it could be more, but it's more now. And, you know, I have an aunt in my family who has a disabled child. My cousin is disabled and autistic and really struggles. And I just called her up one day after having dealt with this and pulled an all-nighter, and I was so exhausted and crying, and I just said, Auntie, you're my hero. At the end of the day, any single woman who self-sacrifices in that way, or who's able to care, or anybody who's a caregiver, rescues animals, or does the hard work, like, you're my hero. It is hard. So, especially when you're on no sleep. So that's my life update in regards to Koko. And I hope that answers many of your questions about what is happening. I don't really have much more information other than that, other than it's just a day-by-day process. So thank you for your compassion and understanding. All right, changing topics. Retreats in 2020. I have so many people asking me if I'm doing retreats this year. And I have to say that the answer is yes. However, I probably won't be announcing these until the last week of January, possibly the first week of February. Stay tuned. I'm still putting some dates on the calendar and getting places set. I will say this though, I won't be doing more than 2 this year. Last year I did 4, and then like extra things on the side. And 4 retreats in 1 year was a lot for me. And so these retreats this year are gonna be a bit more selective. So I would just stay tuned for that announcement. So if you're interested in coming to one of my retreats, I would just say to pay close attention, because the announcements will probably be quite short. They'll probably fill up fast, and the next opportunity will be 2021. Okay, next question. Next question. Leaving Houston or moving. I will say this. I feel that I've slowly been transitioning away from Houston ever since I closed my co-op here. Many of you who've been following me a long time, you know that it was painful for me to be in Houston for a couple of years. And while I no longer feel that way, I've kind of already made my transition out. You guys know, or those of you who've been following me know, I'm part-time in Bali now, which I love, which is, you know, one of the reasons why I do retreats there. I have my beautiful community of friends who are supportive there. And I do intend to officially create a foundation somewhere else in 2020. I won't share where yet, but I will say it's in the works. However, I just want to say this. My family's in Houston. My grandpa's here, my parents, my sister. So I'm always gonna have a tie here in Houston. I'm always gonna have, you know, a reason to come back and visit. I just know for me, I am looking to create a foundation for myself somewhere else where I feel like I can really thrive mentally, emotionally, and spiritually. I do believe it's possible to outgrow a place, and I think it's okay to move on. It's always okay. Like, you're never gonna officially lose touch. When you love people in your life and they're understanding, they'll want the best for you, and sometimes they come along with you. You never know. So I'm excited to share that journey with you. Can't tell you when or where yet, just know it's coming. Yoga and exercise. How have you been managing to keep up with your exercise and exhaustion and still keep up with Koko? You know, I've been very blessed to be able to have somebody to watch Koko in the mornings. Even if I pull off an all-nighter, I still go to yoga every morning. How crazy is that? And the reason is that 1 hour that I have to go to yoga is my time for myself. Even if sometimes I feel physically tired, I still show up, because it's that important to me, and because I do need some kind of a routine in my life to help me feel good. I am very much a type A personality. I love routine. I love discipline. I love, I love discipline, and I love being able to have mastery in certain things. So yeah, I'm very grateful to those who've helped me watch Koko in the mornings for that hour so that I can go. My yoga studio has also let me just bring Koko to the studio, and they play with him at the front desk while I practice. So I'm very grateful to be able to get in my yoga. And Cash and I have been doing HIIT trainings a couple times a week as well, and he's pretty much the reason why I've gotten in great shape, so thanks, Cash. So I've also received some comments from people saying, hey, they don't want to participate in a full program or a full challenge, but they do love my recipes. Where can they get them? There are many places you can get them. Even if you don't want to do a full program or challenge, the ebooks in there have everything and they're very useful. My book is also on my website, FullyRaw.com. It's also on Amazon, and my app. My Fully Raw app is on iTunes and Google Play, and it has more than 300 raw vegan recipes in it. So you guys can download it and have it with you anywhere all the time. And I believe we're gonna be doing an app sale pretty soon, so stay tuned for that. The past few months, I've also grown much closer to my sister. And B, if you're watching this, I just wanna say I love you. I have an older sister, she's 3 years older than me. And when I first went raw vegan, everybody pretty much thought I was crazy. I think she did too at some point, but she loved me so much that she went raw vegan with me for 6 months in the very, very beginning of my journey. And she did amazing on it, and she was extremely inspired, was in like the best shape of her life. And since then, 14 years have passed, and she was married and all this stuff. And she's recently told me that she's on her journey back to health, and that really makes me so excited. And so we've decided that coming up very soon, we're gonna do a challenge for her where she's gonna go raw for a certain period of time, and we're gonna monitor, I don't wanna say monitor, but we're gonna watch her transformation. Not just with juicing, but with smoothies and trying different raw things and exercising. So we're gonna do a video on that journey for her soon. Really excited, and it's just been nice to grow closer to my sister again. All right, so there were a few more questions on my Instagram that I asked you guys. A lot of questions about me and Cash. It's not fair for me to answer these questions without him here, so I'm gonna save all those for a future video. I just also wanna acknowledge him in this video. He's been one of the most amazing humans that I've ever had in my life. He's the healthiest relationship that I've ever had. He's kind and sweet and supportive, and never once asked me for anything. He's just so giving and loving. And I know there were some nasty comments on my Instagram about us together, but I just have to say, unless you know somebody, you don't really have permission to comment in that way. It's just judgment or criticism at that point. And I really feel when people lash out at people for dating somebody who's different, whether we are of different cultures or skin colors, or even if like you think we're different, you don't know what somebody's connection is like with another human until you meet them and interact with them. And I'll say this, me and Cash's journey together has been, it's just been beautiful and crazy and amazing. When we first met, I mean, we've been friends for 4 years, we've only been dating for 2, but when we first met, he wasn't vegan. And I hope to share that story with you soon, but yeah, he's just amazing. You'll find out. And for those of you who are in the inner circle, you already know. Did you ever consider giving up your raw vegan diet? No, not even on the table. I have learned how to cook food for Cash and for my family. And even then, I'm not really tempted to try cook food because I love my lifestyle. Like, I love that this is the most nutrient dense lifestyle on the planet. I love fruits and vegetables. I just know that this works for me, and Cash knows what works for him, and he'll still incorporate raw vegan meals with me from time to time, but no, I've never considered giving up my lifestyle. Like, I love it. Why would I don't have a reason to go back the other way. I know what the other way is like, and I like what this feels like. And somebody saying, what convinced you to go raw vegan? So actually check out the bio on my website at FullyRaw.com. My whole story is written for you there. Do I struggle with body image? Ooh, I'm gonna do a separate video on that for sure. Do you not get annoyed with having to constantly explain your lifestyle all the time? Not anymore. I think I did in the beginning because I was afraid of people judging me or criticizing me. But now I kind of love it. I see it as an opportunity to awaken people to this way of living, which most people don't know about, right? Like, We live in a very small bubble, some of us, and we think everybody knows about this, but the truth is most people don't know about it. So any opportunity I can, I'm talking about it. And I realize that communication is key, sharing is caring, and the best way to inspire people is to shine your brightest light. So I tend to focus on that more than having to explain myself a million times over. And if they don't understand, then I'm just like, all right, maybe I was a link in their chain today and maybe somebody else will impact them tomorrow, and then they'll remember what I told them later on. How do you face your fears on a daily basis to reach for your dreams? Whew, you know what? That's a very difficult question. And I don't know why people think that just because we're on social media, we don't struggle or that we must be perfect. But I know so many of my friends who are influencers as well, we struggle with having fears and not reaching our goals all the time. I journal a lot. For those of you who know who are in my inner circle, my challenge, I am a huge journaler. I write out my feelings, I write out my emotions, I write out my tasks for each day and my goals. I think journaling, breath work, yoga, eating raw food, all those things help keep me centered and focused, and self-care is a huge part of that. And what does that have to do with fear? I think it just keeps me moving forward. It helps me to just keep taking things one step at a time. So it keeps me from swallowing myself in my fear, and it just keeps me moving forward and focused on those goals. I hope that makes sense. And I also believe it's important sometimes to sit with your emotions no matter what, and to just be present, right? Because sometimes the only way out is through. And at the end of the day, I believe that at the core of fear is love. So if you're afraid of something, ask yourself, what are you afraid to lose? What is it that you really love? Where can love be expressed here? So I think I'm running out of time because I wasn't expecting to share so much here, and I really wanted to share with you what my goals are for 2020 and the lessons I've learned, the mistakes I've made, and how I want to move into this year. And I'm kind of thinking now that that should be a different video. So I'm going to put that in a different video. I hope this video has been able to give you an update of where I am in my life right now. January, I'm focused on the challenge. There's some really cool things coming up in February. Please stay tuned for those, whether it be retreat announcement or app sales or stuff like that, or me moving, you never know. Just stay tuned. There's so much coming, and if you are interested in joining the 21-day challenge, it's not too late. It's awesome. That's all I can say. Check out the webpage, check out all that's offered. So much content, so much value. It will change your life. If you're looking to go plant-based or vegan, just join us and have fun. Thank you all so much for joining me today, for being a part of my community, for caring about me. It really means so much, especially those of you who've been following me for a long, long time. And for those of you who are new, hit the subscribe button because 2020 is gonna blow up. You have no idea. I'm just so excited for this year, and I'm grateful to have you here. If you want more daily life updates from me, please be sure to follow my Instagram. I usually post on my stories every single day, so you can see what's going on with Koko, with me, my life, and more. And I will see you all in my next video. Thank you so much again for joining me. Sending you all my hugs and my love, and I'll talk to you soon. Bye.